Hello, and welcome to The Cup TV, the currently unnamed podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Er, Um, I am here. I'm back. I told you I'll be back. I am back here talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Battle Camp. Um, I am just drinking on some water right now because hydration is important. And I do have my cup mug. Uh-huh. And that raises our panel full of cup mugs, a panel full of cup mugs, a party over here, a party over here. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, so there are no excuses. Get your cup merch, period. Um, we are here, like I said, talking about episodes 3 or 4 of Battle Camp. I am back again, and we're gonna get right into it because there's no time like the present. Why waste time? Before we jump into it, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button on this channel, please. We're on a mission here at the Cup TV to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. And that challenge has gone out to all of our channels in the Cup Network, where we're trying to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. So follow us and subscribe to us here. Then go into our description below and click the link tree to get the links to all of our other channels. If you're a fan of drag or drag race, we have At the Cup Pod for you. If you are a fan of uh, Eurovision Song Contest, we have a channel for you as well at The Cup ESC. And if you are a fan of WWE Wrestling, we have a channel for you, and that is at The Cup Ringside. So join us on all of those channels and help us out, give us the subs. We really appreciate it. And that way we can unlock a lot of fun things that we can only do once we hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So check us out, hit the subscribe button, follow us if you care about any of these channels. This channel in particular for competitive reality television, which we are covering. I'm covering everything here. Well, not just me, but other people. We are covering everything here from Battle Camp to Survivor to Amazing Race. Um, Destination X is coming up soon, and we're gonna have a lot of fun things with that. So you definitely want to check out our Destination X coverage when that comes out at the end of May. Um, just a lot of things happening. So let us know well, not let us know. What am I talking about? Subscribe to this channel and help us out and become one of our 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. We appreciate it. You can also follow us on our audio podcast links if you need to check that out. The link is in the description below. If you need to check us out on the go, go check out our audio podcast links, as well as our Patreon, where we have a lot of fun things that we're doing in there. So join our Patreon. And yeah, let's get into it. Battle Camp episode 3. Um, we left off with Irina walking off because she felt blindsided by her team. Um, they they all didn't tell her. They didn't tell her that they were going to vote for her, so she felt very blindsided, and she ended up with a lot of votes against her. It was 13 votes. Her name was on the wheel 13 times. One for when she lost the challenge with her team. The second one was for the loss and the punishment, and then 13 other votes came her way. So her name, well, not 13, but um 11 votes came her way. So her name was on the wheel 13 times. Um, She walked off because she was hurt, but the host Taylor, which I didn't mention his name in the last episode, Wish I should have, but I didn't. His name was Taylor. But Taylor wants and talks to her and talks her back in to come back. And she comes back and they spin the wheel. And to no one's surprise, it lands on one of the 13 spots of our arena. And so she's sad and she leaves and she's crying. Gabby is feels so guilty. Trey feels guilty. Louis feels guilty because they didn't tell her but they were voting for her, and she kind of feels very sad. They were very sad about it. Um, she just was she was devastated, and they felt bad because they could have told her. And Trey was like, "That was not the right move. We should have told her." Let me move this off of Trey's face real quick. We'll take the logo off for just for a little bit, so Trey don't get disrespected in this episode. um, so Treya's like, that was the wrong move. That was the wrong, like, we should have told her. And I agree. I was like, dang, that's wild. For what reason did you not tell her? Like, you could have easily told her, like, girl, or I don't even know why they voted for her. Like, honestly, they really didn't need to vote for her because everybody else was. So many people were voting for her. So it was like, I would have just let the train ride, but I'm not gonna jump on it. I'm just gonna stand by and watch it go and wave at it like, hey, I'm not gonna jump on the train because that was unnecessary. Because what would have happened? What would have happened by some chance? It didn't land on her, and it could have landed on anybody else. Now you have to go back and play damage control and try to now talk this girl who you all just turned against. For what reason? That y'all can play together. Like, thankfully they didn't have to do that, but it's like, what could that it was just foul. It was wild, honestly. Um so Irina's gone. Everybody's they feel guilty and devastated, but the game has to go on. So the next day, um, they know they're getting a recruit, and in walks Bree. Bree is from Too Hot to Handle, and so she knows Louis, and Louis is super excited to see her because he knows her and he likes her. And he's like, "Ooh, I get a cuddle buddy on this summer camp trip. This is great." And so they're all like instantly connected, which shows some concern from other people in the house. I mean, in the camp. People are concerned. QT is concerned with the connection that Louis has with Bree. Um, I hated that. I'm gonna be honest. I hated that. I was like, QT, why? Why are you going after Bree? Like, what? What is the reason? I mean, I understand for game, but like, it's so many other people you can go after. And but to each his own. You play your game. But I was like, oh, nah, not the first. The soon as you get there, like, come on. But I love QT and I like Bree. I love QT because I watched The Circle. I haven't watched Too Hot to Handle with Bree, but I liked her when she got on this show. I was like, oh, I like Bree. But it was people were concerned. So we don't have a whole lot of time to waste after they introduce Bree to everybody at breakfast. They go right into the challenge. Well, no. Well, they don't go into the yes, they do. They go into the challenge. And the challenge is called Mask the Misery. And that's where the campers try to trick the other teams into thinking that they are either eating or doing something miserable. So it's like it's acting 101, honey. You have to put on your acting chops and show these people that whatever you're doing is the worst thing possible, even if it's not, because um, 3 people had normal whatever the thing was, they had it normal, and the 4th person had the miserable task. And so they had to trick them. So the wolves go first, and their task is called the electric shock. And one person is going to actually have electric shock going through them, and the other three are not. And so they all have to guess who has the shot going through them. The person who actually had the electric shock going through them was Louis, but the person who the teams guessed had the shot going through them, both teams guessed that it was Gabby. So the Eagles and the Bears both said Gabby. They were wrong. Therefore, the Wolves, Team Wolf got 2 points because each point that they get incorrect, you get the point. So the Wolves get 2 points. Then it's the Eagles' turn, and their task is the moldy milkshake. So three of them are going to get a regular, normal strawberry milkshake that tastes just like strawberry milkshake, and then one person was going to get a moldy milkshake that's disgusting and gross. Um, the person who actually gets the disgusting milkshake was Tony, and the guesses from each team was Lorenzo. And so the Eagles get 2 points. Then it's the Bears' turn, and their task was to chop onions. And whoever guessed the person was chopping the onions wrong or chopping the onions at all, you know. So the person who actually chopped the onion was QT, and the person that everybody guessed was Scooby. And so the Bears get 2 points. So the Wolves are up next, and the task is called the invisible chair. And so Trey was the one who didn't have a chair, but he had to make it look like he had a chair. And the team guessed uh, Trey and Bree. So I think the Bears guessed Bree, and the Eagles guessed Trey. So they got 1 point, and then the Wolves got 1 point. Um, then it was the Eagles' turn, and their next task is called Heavy Package. Lorenzo had the heavy package, and both teams' guesses were Polly and Tony, and so the Eagles get 2 more points. So if you're keeping up with points, that's 4 points for the Eagles. Uh, Wolves have 3 points. Bears have 2 points right now. Wait, so then it has to be the Eagles guessed correctly with Trey, so they got 3 points. So the Wolves have 2 point. The Wolves have 3 points. The Eagles has 5 points, and last up is the Bears. And their task was hot dog from hell. One person was getting a very hot, spicy hot dog, and everybody else was getting regular hot dogs. So Shuby did such a really good job in the last one with the onions because they for sure thought it was Shuby. They just knew it was Shuby, and it was not Shuby. So this time, Shuby gets the hot dog from hell. He's the one who actually gets the hot dog, and he's like all like really reacting, and they're like, "We're not buying it, Shuby. You can't fool us again. Oh no, we're not buying that from you." And so they guess both teams guess Geo, and the person who had the hot dog, like I said, was Shuby. So the Bears get 6 points, and the Bears win. Yeah, 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 yeah. Congrats to the Bears. Um, so we go back to camp, and we see a little interesting conversation between Tony and Gabby, with Tony and Louie, and I think it was Trey. They were all talking, but Tony has a crush on Gabby. although she has a boyfriend, and he is very aware that she has a boyfriend. He's like, "I don't wanna hear that. I don't wanna hear that." She has a boyfriend. And Gabby thinks it's like, "That's cute." Like, she's like, "Oh, yeah, he likes me. Oh, that's cute." No, it's not working. I have a boyfriend. I have someone, but he's just, like, making these comments to Gabby and things like, I don't remember, just lines, pickup lines or whatever Tony-isms lines, because Tony thinks he's so great, and Tony thinks he's so amazing, and who would want to turn down him? Like, "Look at him. He's Tony. Why would you turn him down?" Um, so then it's time for oh no. That night we see Louie and Bree doing a little bit of cuddling and more bed that night, which was starting to which was like had Trey and Gabby like oh Jesus Christ. You know, me personally, don't you dare. Don't y'all dare be in kissing and while we hear mm, 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 all in that little bitty cabin. Baby no. Absolutely not. Like y'all take that somewhere else, go outside and, do y'all cuddling under the tree or something and then come back and go to bed. Cause I gotta get some sleep. But that's just me. That's just me personally. Me personally. Um So the next day we get the punishment and it's called full throttle and it is called whoever puts in the most steps wins. And so the Bears have to pick who they want to be in the punishment and they pick Gabby, Bree, and Polly. Um and everybody's kind of like, Gabby's a cheerleader. She's used to doing this. And she was doing great at the beginning, kind of gassed out at the end, and I think everybody kind of was gassing out a little bit. But the winner overall turned out to be Gabby anyway. And Bree and Polly has their name now added to the wheel because Bree wins. So then we hear Polly trying to come up with some game plan, some strategy now. She's deciding that she's going to go after Louis. And she tells her team that Louis is the one we should go after. He's the head of the pack. He's strong. And people are listening, like, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's good. Um, Tony not so much. He did not want to go after Louis because Louis is his boy. He don't want to go after Louis. So he tells Louis that Polly's coming for him and that they need to vote Polly. But Tony said, I can't vote Polly because I have been known to vote against our team and I don't want to be that guy. So y'all go ahead and y'all vote Polly. It's fine. Do what you gotta do, but just know that she coming for Louis. And so that was all it needed for Trey and, Bree and Louis to hear. Even Gabby, I think, to hear that, Polly was coming after no, but Louis, Bree, and Trey, that's all they need to hear was that Polly was coming after Louis, and that was their vote for Polly. And then Gabby, despite everything, um, when it's time to vote, she goes and she puts down Tony. And she's like, it will come a time to do something like this. And I think this is the time. And so she goes after Tony. And that literally is how episode 3 ends with Gabby showing us that she went for Tony. So let's just dive right into episode 4. So when we come back in episode 4, we are at the wheel ceremony. We're good to the wheel ceremony. And Taylor is, getting people to find out what their votes are or who got votes against them. Gabby has 1 vote, and that is the vote she got from the team losing. Bree has 4 votes, a vote from QT and a vote from Avery. Um, Louis has 3 votes, a vote from Polly, a vote from Lorenzo, and then his vote on the from when he lost. Polly has 4 votes, a vote from Trey, a vote from Bree, a vote from Louie, and a vote from it was Trey, it was Louie, it was Bree, and then the vote she got for losing the punishment. So that made her have 4 votes. Then Tony gets 4 votes, which was a vote from Gabby, a vote from I think a vote from it was Gabby, it was Georgia, uh, it was Shuby. I want to say it was Shuby, and it was oh Gio. Yeah, it was Gio. Gio was the 4th vote, and then Trey had 2 votes, one from when he was um the losing team, and then one from Tony. So he has his. They get 2 votes, and so Taylor spins the wheel, and the one vote that Gabby got took her right out this game. And I was like, no. Gags. And then why I hate a wheel so much. Why I hate a wheel so much. I was like, she had 1 vote against her, and you stop on her. Oh, so annoying. Like super annoying. Very gross that she had to go um over 1 vote. And when I tell you everybody was devastated, everybody was so sad. Most people, I won't say everybody, most people were sad. The yellow team definitely was sad because she was one of the stronger girls and they didn't want to lose her. And so we lost Gabby, and so they were sad. Tony was crying, like boohoo sobbing, like I'm like, she was not your girl. She was never gonna be. But he was so sad, so upset, and so pissed off. He went into the camp afterwards, after Gabby left, and was yelling at Polly, was like, "You're the psycho, like you should have," like basically said she should have been the one. Like he was so mad, and I was like, "What are you mad about? Like, why are you acting this way towards Polly? She had nothing to do with it. Like, you can't. She didn't even vote for Gabby. Like, you can't be mad at her because the wheel didn't stop on her. The wheel stopped on Gabby." So he was so upset. He was so mad. Um, So after all of that and the trauma and the sadness calmed down, the next morning we do get the replacement, and it's Morgan. And Morgan is also from Cheer. So and she knows Gabby, but they didn't work with each other now because Gabby's gone. So Morgan comes in and they're introducing her to everyone, and they get the announcement that it's time to go to the challenge, and nobody knows where the heck Tony is. Okay, so that was it was just wild. It was wild, but they're talking to Morgan, trying to figure out, just introduce themselves and get to know her, and they call him to go to a challenge, but Tony is nowhere to be found. They see Tony sitting off in this place by himself, just looks like he's contemplating and thinking about things, don't know where to go. He was like, "This is the first time I don't know what to do. I'm very confused about this. I don't know." So he gathers everyone at the fire pit, only to tell him he quits. He can't do it anymore. He doesn't want to do it. He quits. And I was like, Excuse and his excuse was this game was turning into someone who didn't want to be. He didn't want to be that guy. He didn't want to come in here and try to take over or do that. And I'm like, "Well, you absolutely did." He was like, "I don't want to be that guy, so I'm going to remove myself from the situation," which I get. I guess I understand, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about like I don't like people quitting games. I don't like it. Um never quitted a game. Even if I've come very, very close to quitting a game, I just could not quit because people put a lot of time and effort into these games, and I don't want to be the reason things get screwed up and sliced around, and it's just um. But no time to waste. We Orbo and Tony, they say their goodbyes, and it's off to the challenge. And the challenge is called pole position. And we see, of course, like we said, Tony's gone. So the Eagle team is down one, but not for long because in comes Nick from the circle also. And he is now part of the Eagle squad. And um that's what um excuse me. That's what they I don't know what I was about to say. I just got so like I don't even remember what I was gonna say. But Nick comes in, everybody's like, yay, good, a refreshing face. Yeah, if I sounded crazy in that moment, I apologize. Cause I have no idea where my thought was taking me, which is weird. Anyway, Nick is in, everybody's happy. He's like a breath of fresh air, and he's not the negative aspect that Tony was apparently to the team. And so like I said, they go to the challenge. It's called pole position, and one person has to hang on a wall while the other team is shooting beanbags into these holes, representing the poles that are going to be eliminated on the ones that they're standing on. And so it's either hang on or drop. And if you drop, you don't get the point. Person with the most points wins. And so the Wolves and the uh, Bears decide that they're going to go after the Eagles right away in round one. Right away. And so they do. And they go after the Bears. I mean, after the Eagles. And the Eagles have to fight it out in the next round because they go down. And so okay, so the first people up um were Nick and Louie? No, Nick and Trey. Yeah. Nick and Trey. Was it Nick and Trey? No, Trey was throwing. Oh, so who was it? Nick and Morgan? Because okay, well, Morgan was throwing. So it's Bree. Okay, yeah. So first I thought it was Bree and Polly. Screw Nick at that point. It was Bree and Polly first. And they all go after the Eagles team, which Polly falls eventually after holding on as much as she can. But she eventually falls and everybody go after her. And then the Bears go after it's between the Bears and the Wolves, and then the Bears ends up it was QT against QT against Avery. No, not QT and Avery, they're on the same team. It was Avery against Morgan, and then Avery wins. So there's that. And then finally it was Louis versus Nick in the final round, and Nick wins that. So in first place, the Bears win. In second place was the Eagles, and in third place were the Wolves. So all the Wolves names will be on the wheel come tonight. So we get back to camp, and the Bears decide they're going to make this alliance, and they want to pull in Trey and Louie. They're like, with the six of us, we can come together. We can have this alliance. It will be great. And so Trey and Louie are like, sure, absolutely. Let's do this. Let's make it work. And then the bears go into the hunt in the hut to pick who they're going to do for the punishment. And they pick Morgan, Nick, and Trey. And I'm like, what? And their reasoning is because we know you could do it. You have great balance, and we know you can do it. And Trey is like, but we just did this whole big old why would what which I'm like, absolutely. Um, you could have put in uh like it just didn't make any sense. They could have put in Lorenzo, they could have put in uh Nick. Well, they put in Nick, they could have put in Lorenzo, and it could have been Lorenzo, Nick, and Morgan if they felt like they had to put somebody for like why? Why? It didn't make any sense. But so Trey was not happy. Nick did end up winning the punishment, so his name was not gonna go on the board at that point. And so now Trey is concerned because Trey is like, if it comes down to me and Louis, I needed to not be me. And so Trey is going around camp trying to find any crack, any loophole, any way he can get into knots going up on the wheel. And so he talks to Polly and he makes this deal with Polly. He basically is like, listen, if you don't vote for me, I got your back. So, and she's like, so who do you want me to vote for? And he's like, Louis. Because Polly told him her people that she was considering was between Trey and Louis. And she said, and he was like, vote Louis then, don't vote me. And Polly was like, wow, interesting. He will just throw his best friend under the bus, who he called his best friend in this game. And she was like, he was just throwing him under the bus like that. That's so very interesting. But it might benefit me if I do it. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. And we see them talking, shake and or not shake, but have an agreement. And then that is how episode 3 ended. Oh, episode 4 ended. So it was interesting. We had 2 episodes, where people are starting to play now. They're making deals on the side, they are strategizing a little bit more, um, to who they want to get out and who is best for their game, and if Imma be honest, I don't think Trey did anything wrong in this moment. Sure, Louis was his, best friend in the game, but it's called self-preservation. And if you want to stay alive, sometimes you got to throw your friends under the bus. This is not battle camp best friends. This is battle camp, and you have to be prepared for the battle. And so I didn't think he did anything wrong in this. So we will see how the camp reacts to all of this later on. But that is going to do it for me right now. Um, I appreciate you all taking the time to check us out. If you would like to hit the subscribe button, and I know you do. Just hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and support for your support for us here on this channel and all across our network. Make sure you can go to in the description below and follow all of our channels. All the links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon, all of our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And and get your merch. At lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link was also in the description below. And I'm going to get out of here because honestly, I have nothing else to say and I have to go watch the next episodes. So I'll see you all tomorrow with the next episode. So cheers, y'all. Bye.